resubmission would be a useful remedy only for a few cases, such as a failure in image recognition checks. That makes sense, that allowing them to resubmit their images for the algorithm to to take another try, and then many of them actually get passed. Until there are major changes to the system in these checks, like for example the image recognition, the resubmission wouldn't help that much. If someone who is actually stuck because of their name appeal, then it should be waiting for the name appeal feature to come out to resolve the, their name don't simply match that case. So giving them another resubmission would only lead them to have more trouble resubmitting one more time, wouldn't let them just go past because of resubmission. However, we need to strike a balance in granting, even for the checks that resubmission would help, we need to strike a balance in granting resubmissions, because we don't want to let the fake accounts to get many opportunities to retry either. Yes, there is already a feature actually halfway, shown, but there is some scalability issue and not fully fledged for people to use. I don't remember where it is at. Maybe it's in the mainnet checklist. Oh, the last step. It's like inviting your teams to KYC. So this is the mechanism and feature we thought of to mobilizing the inactive or other members who haven't KYC to KYC. In a sense, it's decentralized motivation mechanism. Each person is motivating their own security circle or referral team to pass KYC because they have their own motivation as well, because the bonuses attributed to those members depends on the verification of identity of their team members. So the feature that we're thinking of is notification through similar to the PIN. However, we're also open to sending email notifications, which will take time to set up the infrastructure to send millions of emails, but still more feasible than sending text messages. The majority of the efforts right now in the KYC team have been to unblocking pioneers for their ability to submit KYC and getting unstuck in the KYC review process for various reasons just mentioned above. For the user endpoint, it's just the same. It's pending or it's stuck. But for the engineering side of things, it's actually different sets of work. It's not just one set of work and unblock all people. It's a different miscellaneous set of work to unblock different people for different reasons. And that's why it takes time. And that's why you continuously hearing people who is stuck is because, there are always remaining people who is stuck due to the probability of algorithms and due to human errors. And we're trying our best to unblock them and improve them as much as possible. The validator rewards are accumulated by deducting 1 pi from each successful KYC, especially at the migration and into a pool. This pool will only increase and will not decrease because it will only be used to reward validators. All the work, such as checks a validator did, are accounted for in the database. So we have all the data that is needed in order to distribute the reward. So the rewards from the pool will be distributed after the calculation of the accurate validation checks, because there are some validations should be false and that shouldn't be compensated for. It will be after the KYC process is more stable state where all pioneers can apply to KYC, fewer people are stuck in the pipeline. This also helps to reward all validators more fairly, because the initial periods of KYC movement, we call it, if it's a network movement of KYC, the initial periods like right now or any time before right now, it should be considered the initial period. This may involve more negative results, meaning that these ones are marked as internally as rejected or actually rejected, whereas later stage, presumably more cases passing. So the pool only comes from the successful KYC, as a reminder, because only the people who are KYC that actually can claim the pi and therefore actually have the ability to pay the 1 pi, but will reward all the work by validators, even if the results of the cases are negative, meaning that the work, if a validator accurately validate a case and determine this case shouldn't pass, this validator's work still needs to be rewarded because its work helped to result in accurate negative result. So accounting for larger data set of the validation work helps overall more fair reward distribution. I'll give a very simple example. So early on, let's suppose, all these are supposed hypothetical number. Suppose 3 out of 10 KYC applications pass KYC. And these work are done by 10 validators, which is assumption. It's hypothetical because actually each case has many validators involved. Let's suppose 10 for simplicity. Therefore, this will yield 3 pi should be distributed among 10 people, and each validator will only get 0.3 pi. But later, as the system improves, later 9 out of 10 people pass KYC, and also done by 10 validators, 9 pi will be distributed among 10 people. This leads to the later periods 0.9 pi. But if we put both batches together and distribute the pi rewards together, it means that 3 plus 9 is 12 pi in total, and distributed to 20 validators in total, that each validator should earn 0.6 pi instead of for the initial validators that basically suffer from a lot of negative results is 0.3, and then later has much higher. This is a simple hypothetical example why pulling it together more to reach a little bit more stable KYC periods helps even or more fair distribution. Okay.
Currently, there is over 700,000 validators who have validated at least a certain amount of applications, meaning that it's not just one or two; it's like a few applications, Yes, at the moment, every KYC application involves multiple human validations. But human validations do not constitute the whole validation process of a KYC. But all the cases also involve multiple machine automation checks. So we will see how this can evolve in the future. Maybe we will be at a point where many validations can be fully completed by AI, and when the AI is not certain, that's when it goes to human validators.
Yes.
And by the way, this is going to be a benefit for human validators as well, because they will only be called to do meaningful work, therefore, more meaningful work, therefore, critical, meaning that not the easy cases, but the more difficult cases that the computer cannot determine, and as a result, the proportion, the amount of pi that will be distributed would also be higher, because fewer people are needed per person who needs to KYC.
Yeah, so this is the design of components of a machine and also AI and human is by it's to make something 100%, meaning that it can reach finality. Because AI until today, even though it's a great applications in areas very widely, very useful, but it cannot achieve the 100%. However, the KYC determination needs to be 100%. That's why we have the design of two components. And at the same time, as you guys, many of you know, AI has the nature of evolvement, like evolution of itself, of getting smarter as it goes. And that's what Nicholas commented on later. It might not need certain processes or reduce certain type of work for validator while giving validator more critical work to work on.
Mm-hmm. So we're doing two things basically as we go. One is we're using these algorithms to make decisions in the applications as they go, but we are also learning, the algorithm is training and learning based on validator responses, and it's improving itself.
Mm-hmm.
Some migration statistics. So currently there is a little bit over 1 billion pi that is moved to mainnet. It's 1.046, something like that. And about 80% of that is locked for 6 months or more, like 813 million and some more. We have migrated about 1.3 million to mainnet. That means that this 1 billion pi belongs to those 1.3 million people. and there is currently about 2.6 million, about double that, who have passed KYC. So this means, if we divide the numbers up, it means that currently the average mainnet balance of pioneers is about 800 pi, 808. These are the statistics, current statistics about the migration. Can we add the feature automatically switch the keyboard to English when entering a passphrase? This will limit the situation that the pioneer still leaves the keyboard in the native language and confuses one number or character when entering the passphrase. I think this is a really good idea. We can look into whether it is technically feasible, if the phones allow you, or the phone browsers allow you to do this, to modify the keyboard settings. If we can, it's a really good idea. Thank you for proposing it.